Women reverberated from the small town called Abiaze Chiakon in the central region of Ghana across the globe. As a flawless storyteller and a catalyst for women empowerment and emancipation, Professor Aidoo stood tall among her contemporaries because her writings contributed tremendously towards Africa's liberation struggle. Her daughter is Kina Nana Ajua Kesiwa Lekmani.
My mother's navigation of the world was grouped into two primary categories: I'm writing or I'm not writing. She was most at peace when she was writing, and most unsettled, discontent when she wasn't writing. She could be celebrating a beloved birthday and thoroughly enjoying herself, or she maybe has gone to do revolution with some uncles of mine. But if one looked deep into her eyes, far past her loving embraces and famous hugs, somewhere deep inside her, a pool of dejection and despair had started to form. This pool would grow and threaten to challenge the Gulf of Guinea for sheer size, till one day, Kina, I wrote a poem. Let me read it to you. That she was a master of all the literary forms, the poem, the short story, the play, and the novel, is not only a testimony to her brilliance, but quite literally, it meant deliverance came sooner rather than later.
In his sermon, the presiding bishop of Methodist Church Ghana, Reverend Paul Boafo, said Professor Aidoo stood for dignity, integrity, and served a generation faithfully, and called on Ghanaians to emulate her example.
Many of us are living for ourselves, selfishly, with greed. We think only of ourselves. Here was a woman who spoke for Africans. Here was a woman who stood for Africans. Here was a woman who spoke for the vulnerable, for the marginalized, for the downtrodden, for women, for the girl child, and those who had nobody behind them. Their words will live on. And I pray that there will be people who will stand up like her to speak for the vulnerable in society, especially women.
And to President Akufo-Addo, her publications, plays, and dramas, including A Dilemma of a Ghost, were compelling, must read and must watch.
The community of writers has lost one of its greatest members, one who will be extremely difficult to replace. She was my contemporary in the 1960s at Ghana's premier university, the University of Ghana, Lagos. Even though she was 4 years older than me, she was someone with whom I enjoyed friendly and productive relations. Through her work, she made a tremendous contribution to the development of our country and continent, and expressed so many of the feelings about our fate as Ghanaians, and indeed as Africans. Aidoo carved a stunning career spanning 7 decades, where she's famed for, quote, taking African literature back to one of its primal origins, unquote. She exemplified the famous words of that great Kenyan writer, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, that the written words too can sing.
The academic giant took a bow off the world stage to join her ancestors on May 31st, 2023, at the age of 81. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.